Hello everybody. Angie here. Coming on with a little craft with me session. I have been making paper beads and just been having a lot of fun last couple days. So I thought I'd come on and do just a little make with you. I am using, rather than, there's many ways that you can make it, but I have been trying to use up some of this larger copy paper that I have, and it got me to thinking, why don't I just use my Tim Holtz collage paper as well as some napkins, and that's what I'm using today to make my beads, and they're coming out quite pretty. So I thought maybe you guys want to make some with me. Okay, they're so easy, satisfying, fun, and great to use in your journals. So I have here this paper that's what, 8.5 by 14, I think. Yeah, 8.5 by 14 that I'm trying to use up. So it's so easy. If you haven't done it with these particular items before, you know, napkins. You know, I don't have that many napkins, but the ones that I have, I thought they were just really colorful, and I thought they would come out really nice. So let's do this real quick, guys. So easy. You're gonna, if you haven't tried it, definitely give it a try. You'll really have a lot of fun and enjoy it. And I got glue on my pokey tools here. I didn't clean off from earlier when I was making these. But if they're more than one ply, I definitely recommend that you separate them and take it down to the top piece. And I think this is just a 2-ply, hopefully. Yep, looks like it. There we go. Just remove that right off like that. Okay. And the way I do mine is I'm just gluing it down with some glue stick. So just line it up. Now this will crinkle on you when you're gluing it down to your surface, your paper surface. So just be really careful, be patient, but it'll definitely work. And I'm just putting it down just like that. And I'm just taking it easy, and I'm just gonna do a little bit at a time. Because like I said, it's very delicate and it'll rip or crinkle on you. And not a big deal if it does, but you know, if you can avoid it, that's always a good thing. See, just like that. Just give it a nice gentle press. Don't push too hard, you'll tear your paper. But just glue it right down onto your copyweight paper. It's been a while since I've made these, so I was like, you know what? Let's do it. And I was staring at my Tim Holtz papers, and I was like, it's been a while since I've used some of those as well. So we'll do a couple, show you how I do it, and then I'll show you what I've been making as well. Okay. But like I said, there's many different ways that you can do it, but I'll show you my way, my version, my techniques, and see if it helps, makes anything a little bit easier. So there we go. And there's our decorative paper. Okay, and I have this little bit left over here. I don't want to waste that, and it just so happens this napkin that I have is blank on the inside, so I'll just use a strip of it. Okay, and I'm going to put it down on here. Again, make sure you remove that. Some of them are 3-ply, so make sure you strip all those all the way down, or they're not going to stick really well. Okay, and then right about there. Okay, I'll just use a piece of this. Okay, and see, that one crinkled on me a little bit, but it's okay because we're going to roll the paper anyway. Sometimes you can smooth it out or lift it up and lay it back down if that's really a big deal to you. But like I said, we're going to roll the paper, so don't worry about it. Don't stress over it if it crinkles a little bit on you. Okay, so there we go. So that doesn't go to waste. Okay, we're going to let that glue set for a moment. We're going to bring in another piece. And we're going to do some of the Timmy collage paper. And we're going to do it the exact same way. I'm just wondering if I should go this way or this way. All right. And I just kind of hold it. Oh, I'm probably not all the way in frame here. Pull that up. And I just kind of hold it in place. Most important thing is to get your edges. I think those are really important to make sure you get that down. And there we go. And just give it a little rub with your hands. And I prefer to go the other way just because I'm right-handed, so I'm going to turn this around. I just feel like I have better control. And don't be too heavy-handed with the glue stick. If you're using glue stick, you push too hard, then you get these little clumps like I just did. I tend to be a little heavy-handed sometimes, so you don't want to remove those. Okay, and down we go. Just go all the way across. Go. All right, and I'm not going to worry about this little strip here. I can always do that another time. I'll cut that away. Real quick here. Clean up these overhang edges. Now, as far as the strips, there's a few different ways that you can do it. You can just freehand and tear some strips, tear or cut some strips. You can actually measure them. Totally up to you. I'll show you both ways that I do it. And then the width, it just really depends on how big you want your bead to be, okay, and how fat as well. Okay, so there's one. I'll let that set and dry for a little bit. We're going to clean up these edges here on these ones, okay. Kind of a big piece here. All right, let me get another pair of scissors. Let's try these ones. I have bad luck with scissors. They last me about a week, and then they're just dull as I don't know what. That would help. Okay, there we go. All right, we'll start with this one since we glued this one down first. Okay, like I said, there's a couple different ways that I do these depending on the size, okay? A lot of times I will just use my X-Acto knife, finger blade, whatever you've got, and I'll just cut regular strips. Like this one here, I'm going to do 2-inch strips. Okay, we'll do a couple 2-inch strips. It's going to be a bigger one. Just go all the way across. So I don't know how many will get done together, but we'll make a few. It's not anything new, but it's always fun to see somebody else's technique on things. Okay, so there's that one. Let's see what we've got left. Got about 2 inches left. So this one will make 1 inch so it doesn't go to waste. Okay, and then this one we'll do, since it's a smaller, we'll do some 1-inch strips. Hopefully that went all the way through. I didn't check it. Okay. Yep. All right. So we've got a few of this one. We've got a few of that one, and let's cut down the Tim Holtz one. Collage paper. Okay. Now you could go all the way and run a really long one if you wanted to, but I find it's better to work with a little bit smaller strips and just overlay them. It's easier to control the fold or the roll of them. So that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, on this one we'll do 1 inch. Oh, okay. That's one way, and I'll show you how I trim these down. Another way of doing it is turning it on its back side. Okay, if you want to be more precise and get them exact. This is another way that I do them. I will grab a pencil and I actually just make guide marks on it. So like you want to start with your first, when you're starting your roll, say you want it to be 1 inch, okay? So that's our 1-inch strip right there, okay? So what I do within that 1 inch is I figure, okay, I want to start at 1 inch, but I want to end up at maybe 3/4 of an inch. So I will use my grid and I will make little marks for me to guide myself to cut. Okay, so then the next one, because we're gonna have to do a second roll, so we're starting at 3/4 of an inch. So on the next one, we're going to start at 3/4 of an inch, and we want to end at maybe a 1/2 inch. So maybe right there. So let's go to, or let's do 1/2 inch right there and right there. And so for that, we'll do it right there and right there. And one end is always going to be wider, and we're going to narrow each strip as we go. Okay, so see that end will match up with this one. So then this one's going to be a 1/2 inch, and we'll do 3 on this one. 3 strips. So a 1/2 inch, we're going to start it there and probably end it real narrow with a real fine tip right there. And it doesn't have to be exact. I'm moving a little bit quicker than I normally would just for time's sake on the video. Okay, so that will make 1 bead, 3 strips. Okay, and then I would just do that all the way across the collaged paper. Okay, and I will just trim it out. Just like this. And you have yourself a little template that you follow. Okay, so that's one. That would be two. And that would be the third strip that we use, okay? And then I just keep going on down the row. And then these ones will get used as well, okay? So that's another way if you want to be really, really precise. So this one will be your beginning strip, okay? And if I measured it correctly, that should match up, which I didn't. So what I would do in that case, well, we'll do this one together. I would just come up a little bit higher to where it matches up and overlay it and then continue. And then this one would be the third strip, and I measured that one correctly. And that would just lay there and would have one long strip. Okay? So there we go. I wonder if one of these ones would work better. That one's a little bit closer in size. But anyway, okay, so there we go. Now come back to these ones that I just cut all in the same size strips. Another way I do those is I don't really worry about measuring too much. All I do is these wider ones, I would just fold in half. And so don't worry about the fold because they're going to get rolled anyway. And I just freehand the cut. I just guess, okay, right about there, and I just eye it. And it's a lot faster. But it's just totally up to you. Okay, so there's one, and then the second one, again, fold it in half. Now, like I said, each strip you want them to match. So this one is only place I would try and be a little bit more precise. So this will be number 2. So I want the cut to end there, and then I want it to be narrower on the opposite end. So I'll do a little tick mark on both ends so I know to come in on this one a little bit. And when I finish this cut, I want to match up with this tick mark here. So. Pretty good, just like that, okay? And then on the third one, we can use one of these narrower strips here. Again, fold it in half. And the more strips that you use, the fatter your bead will be. Okay, and I usually, for the most part, use 2 to 3, depending on what look I'm going for. On the wider ones, I'll use, I don't know, for some reason I'll use 2. And then on the littler ones, I think they just look really cute, chubby. So I will do 3 on the smaller ones. So I'm going to do the same thing, put 2 tick marks. Okay, and know that I want to come in on this one and match with the tick mark on that one. So just try to eye it as best you can. Just like that. Okay, so that'll be 1. So that's what I'll do with all of these. Okay, just like that. So let's just do another one. Fold all 3 pieces of paper. And this is the one with the napkin, of course. Okay. I folded them all. And so that's going to be one, that's going to be one. Okay, and this will be another one. All right, so that's the first piece. Again, we're going to make a couple tick marks. Right there. And right there. Can't even see that tick mark. Right there. Okay. So on the bottom, we're going to come in. And on the top, we want to meet right at the tick mark. Or come pretty close to it if we can. All right, that was a good one. And the third one, same thing, tick marks on the top and the bottom. Come in on the bottom and meet up at the top. Pretty good. Okay, there we go. So there's a couple different ways that you can do it, okay? And then even another way, the same thing, except just freehand. If you really trust your tearing, you can just literally tear it like that. But it just depends on if you're okay with the jagged edge and you want to come back and clean that up. Okay, that's another way. All right, so let's make a few, huh? All right, I do have a quilling pin, but it's a small quilling pin. I lost my larger one, but you don't necessarily need a quilling pin. You could use a poke tool, or you could use a wooden bamboo skewer, something like that, okay? So we've got one, we've got two. Let's do this little one here first. So you always want to start with the largest and work your way down to the narrowest. Start with the wide end. And we're going to start rolling. And you know, see this? You just want to put it in there. If you guys haven't used a quilling pin before, and you just start rolling. But I usually come in a little bit. Get it started. I have to look at it a little bit closer so I can see what I'm doing, guys. So I may be completely out of frame here for a second. And you want to keep your roll tight and as straight as you can. I actually kind of prefer to use a poke tool, because this one, see how it's going out? If you catch it in time, usually you can push it in, or you might have to back yourself up a little bit and roll. Try and keep it centered, keep it tight. Some people will just glue at the end one time. I prefer, because sometimes my hand gets loose, lets go of the piece, and then I have to start all the way over. So I will actually run a little bit of glue as I go. But that's just a matter of preference. Okay. And I've already gone cockeyed on this one, but that's okay. We're going to keep going. Because sometimes, well, that's kind of way off, but sometimes you can, yeah, I'm not liking that. But we're going to keep going on this because there's a way that I use these ones that come out crooked like this. I'll put I'll make two and let them be crooked, and I'll stick them opposite ends, and they end up being one piece. And I think there's actually a name for this type, but I can't think of what it is at the moment. There we go. Okay. And slowly pull it off. Okay, see how that looks? So I will do two of them like that, and then I will butt the two up against each other, and then roll another piece of paper down the middle. So that's okay, that will not go to waste. Okay, I prefer to use my poke tool. So that is going to have to, well, let's try it. Let's see if we can make another one the same way, and I'll show you what I mean. It's a shame the first one came out kind of cockeyed, but it's okay. See what we can do here. I think it's this darn quilling pin, because I don't usually have a problem when I use my poke tool. This one's doing a little bit better. I better do my glue before I lose my place. That one's not quite as bad. A little bit. What I can do is I will just snip that end off. Just like that. There we go. Okay, then we get the next piece and do the same thing. Match up where we stopped. That's why it's important to get the two pieces the same, because you want to just line it right up. Just like that. And continue your roll. And just take it nice and slow. Make sure you keep it centered, because it will, from time to time, like I said, it will turn on you and the position will change. So you got to kind of, these are fun, but you got to be patient with them. It's not something that you can rush and do, that's for sure. I'm just trying to guide it right down the middle as best I can. There you go. What a cute one. And that's with the Tim Holtz paper. So now that's just with two. If this wouldn't have come out crooked, it would be three, so that would have been an even fatter bead. But I will make another one to match this one. So we're going to put that aside. But this one's fat enough. It's cute. It's a good size, 1 inch, and that's adorable. It's ready to use, just like that. Okay? Let's make one of these. Now on this one, we're going to try with just my poke tool. Okay? So let's check my measurements. So when I stop that one's good. And the length on this, or the width on this one, and that's good. Okay, so far so good. All right, so I just kind of roll the end just to get it started, like on the edge of my desk or something, and see where the little bit of glue didn't take right there. So let's fix that. So I said it's good to get the glue all the way to the edges so you don't have that problem when you're starting. Okay, then I put a little glue and I use my poke tool. And it's a lot longer, so it's easier to control the roll. See, there we go, and just get it started. And usually and I glue as I go. And just try to, I'm gonna go all the way down so it doesn't move on me, hopefully. See, this one's doing the same thing. It's all in how you start the roll. All right, we're gonna open this back up. you don't get that roll started straight, I think that is the key. Okay, let's see if I can open this back up without losing it. Yep, I'm going to try it again because I want this one to come out nice. All in that first spin there. Get it straight. Like I said, it's a little bit tedious, or maybe I'm making it harder for myself than it need to be, but I will usually try to just take my time. That's a little bit of a better roll. See that? Okay, we're getting somewhere now. All right, so we're a little glue and just keep it tight. Try and keep it straight, and it's trying to turn on me already. Rather than spin it, sometimes I find it using my poke tool to use it to wrap, kind of actually wrap around rather than roll it. There we go. See, that's a little bit straighter. Glue that, and now we're ready for the second piece. Line it up where we stopped. See that? Right there. And we're off and running. There we go. Looking good so far. Again, I think I'm going to wrap. I feel like I have better control if I just take it one roll at a time. And close it up. And then the last one. Continuing where we left off, right there, and we're off. Okay, put in my glue. There we go. That's a pretty one. Okay, and then just ease it off of your skewer or your pokey tool, whatever you're using. Just like that. Very pretty. And that's with 3. See how fat and chubby that is? So if that's what you're going for, this one was with 2 and it's a smaller one. Okay, but totally what your preference is. Okay, let's do one with this pink. Do we have 3 strips? Yes. Okay. So we're going to do it the same way. Fold my strips in half, and I'm just going to freehand cut them. Okay, so there's 1. 2. And 3. Okay. Let's trim this down. And again, I'm just eyeballing it. There we go. There's the first one. Then I'm going to use my tick marks for the second one. Line it up. Okay, on the bottom I'm going to come in a little bit and match up with the top tick mark. Okay, and the third one. This one's going to be pretty narrow. Let's see how it goes here. And keep these other cuts because you could match those up as well. So I'll make more with these pieces. Okay. Those won't go to waste either. Those can be used for more beads. But just in case you want something different, rather than using, you know, your magazine pages or scrapbook paper or something like that, you know, pull out those pretty napkins. They're so colorful and pretty, and use those, you know. Or your collage paper, your Tim Holtz papers. Those are always fun. Can't go wrong with Tim Holtz. Okay, there we go. So let's, I'm going to with my pokey tool, curve this in, get it started. Okay, and we're off. See if we can get another straight one. Keep our fingers crossed, huh? Let's hope for the best. Because you never know sometimes. It can come out a little wonky. All in that first roll. Just take your time. And this one's off a little. Yeah, it's off. You can kind of tell by the time you get it on the second roll if it's crooked or not. There we go. Just keep it slow and keep your rolls tight. It's looking pretty good so far. It's trying to turn on me a little, but I'm trying to correct it as I go. I don't know how well you can see that, but I'm trying to correct it. It's pretty good. Looks good, see? Put a little glue on that in there. Okay, that's the first one. So let's get the second one. And we just keep going. Line up, match up the ends. Get it nice and straight. And continue. Sometimes you can go on a good little roll and pick up a little speed. But But that's when I tend to mess up if I try to go too fast. So usually I'll just slow and steady wins the race, you know, kind of thing. But it just depends on your technique. Very good. See? So that's 2 papers. If you want to stop, you could stop there. But I like them nice and chubby. The smaller ones, at least, I do. So find where we stopped. And come up just a little bit because it's a little bit wider there. Okay, here we go. And we're off and running. How pretty. See how chubby that is? Love it. Okay. And carefully pull it off. So there we go, guys. And there's the odd shaped one. But like I said, that will get used. I'll just make another one and I'll butt the 2 up together and it'll just be one long one. Okay. So that is how I make my paper beads using collage paper and napkins. We have one more. Do we have time to make another one? I didn't get to this one, did I? I'll do this one later. Then what I do is, there's again many different ways that you can seal them if you want to seal them. For the most part, I usually use glossy accents, but if you don't have glossy accents, you could use embossing powder and heat emboss them and seal them. You could use Mod Podge, you can use acrylic paints, you could use your Nuvo drops, things like that, any of that thing that has like a sticky gluey base that's shiny and clear. It'll work perfectly. Okay, and I have some water over here from my ones I already made. And I use a poke tool to hold it. And then I just seal it with a little bit of glossy accents. And I love glossy accents. And I'm almost out because I've been making so many of these. But I should have enough to finish these ones up. And I'll just put a dribble like that on, and then I just coat it all the way around. And this dries kind of like a resin, just a clear coat like a resin. I love glossy accents. And I will usually do 2 coats, okay? But for sake of video, I'm only going to be doing one with you guys because within each coat, you have to let it dry for a good, since it's so thin here, at least 30 minutes. Even longer than that would be better, 45 minutes. But we don't have that kind of time on the video time. But so I'll just do 1 coat, but I'll show you the ones that I have completed with more than 1. Okay, and then just go all the way around and seal it. You could use clear nail polish, would work. That would work fine. Okay, there we go. Then you just leave it upright somewhere to dry. Like I said, give it about 30 minutes. And let's grab another one here. Let's seal this one. There we go. Okay. I just keep a little water here so this my brush doesn't get hard and set on me in between each one. I'll dip it in the water just to kind of keep it so the glue will flow for me. And as you're sealing it, of course, just be careful not to get it down inside because then you'll close up your hole and you won't be able to put a strand of thread or yarn or embossing thread, whatever you're using, if you want to tie them together and string them together and make, you know, a nice multiple bead set, you know, like a dangle of some sort. So don't close up your holes. Okay, and I'll just put a thin coat all the way around. And then I'll let that dry and I'll come back and put a second coat. Not that it really needs it, it's just my preference. But Mod Podge will do the same thing. You can use Mod Podge. Mod Podge. I'll never say that correctly. Okay, we're not going to do this one because I'm going to add to that. But we'll go ahead and do this little baby. Okay. Seal this one up. Just a little bit more. Oops. There we go. And just let those dry. While those are drying, I'm going to bring out the ones that I have already made and show you what they look like with more than one. And I used the same papers that we used on here. Okay, and where are they? Here's the ones I have made. All different sizes, but with using the same papers. This one was with this collage, Tim Holtz collage paper. And when I got done, I used a little bit of gilding flakes over the top. I wanted to see how that looked, see if it gave it a little bit more shine. And it's very beautiful. I love it, except it took away and dimmed down some of the design from the actual paper. That's the only thing. Okay, so here's the one where I didn't do any glossy accents or gilding flakes. Okay, that's how that one turned out. And then there's another one. It's a little bit larger. Okay, and that has nothing on it. I haven't sealed those yet. Okay, so I'll separate the ones with, these are the Tim Holtz papers. These papers. These are the ones with the napkins. And they all came out just a little bit different. And then these are all the same napkin here. Okay, so let me just pull these up, put them on my little saucer here. Okay, so they're all different sizes, and these all have 2 coats of glossy accents along with some gilding flakes on these two. This one just has glossy accents on them, and then this one doesn't have anything. I guess I missed that one. Okay, but see the difference? And then these ones are with the same paper. This one has gilding flakes on it. So let's move that one over there. And these ones are the same paper, except just glossy accents on some of them. Let me see. This one doesn't have any. This one and this one. So these ones have glossy accents on them. And then these are just plain. So they look kind of like a matte finish. So they just need to be sealed. Okay. Then these are with the blue napkin that we were just working with this one. Okay, as you can see, they all have 2 coats of glossy accents and they're nice and sturdy. They're strong. Some are fatter. These ones I think I used 3, and these ones I used 2 strips. So see how they're narrower? And these ones are chunkier because I used 3 strips on those ones. Okay. And then these ones are with this Tim Holtz collage paper. And I did those really long and narrow. I like to have an assortment of both. And they all have 2 coats of glossy accents. And here's another one of those that spun crooked on me. So I just need to make another one to put on the opposite. See, like this one right here. And butt them 2 up together. And then put one around the middle. And it will be just fine. So don't let those ones go to waste. Okay, still use them. Okay, so it just depends on what you're looking for. I like them all. And these are the ones with the flowered napkin. And they all have been sealed with 2 coats of glossy accents. Maybe if I put them down, it might be a little easier. Some of them are chunkier. Oops. Isn't that cute? I just love them when they're little and chunky like that. Okay, it just kind of depends on what you're going for. I like that one too. Okay, you could put, like, if you're making a dangle, put that in the middle. Put 2 smaller ones at the ends. Put some beads in there. And you've got yourself a really pretty dangle. And do a couple of them. You know, it just depends on what look you're going for. These don't necessarily match, but they don't really have to. They can be more like a boho style theme, you know. But that one, I don't have 2 smaller ones the same. How about these 2? That would look okay. You know, put your little spacer beads in between. You've got yourself some really, really pretty dangles. What do you think, guys? I love making these. I love making all different sizes and shapes. I just think they're so unique every single time. I mean, look at this little teeny one. Look at that. Look at that little guy. Do a whole bunch like that. But like I said, very tedious work. Takes some time, but so rewarding. You'll love it. If you guys haven't made any, or if you haven't even made any in a while, pull out your napkins, pull out your collage paper, and have some fun. And if you don't have that, just use magazine paper, you know, because they have a lot of colorful pages. And you don't really, once you start rolling and wrapping, you don't really see the advertisements and such on the magazine. All you see is the colors. All you see is the color. And then once you seal them, or if you add a little bit of gilding flakes or a little of acrylic, you could use nail polish, whatever you want to finish them off. You're going to be really, really happy with them. So those are my style, my way, technique of making paper beads, guys. I'm going to keep going at these. We're about out of time, so I'm going to cut this video short. And I'm going to use all these little bits that we have cut off. Those will still make more. And I had some pre-cut pieces to make more with you guys, but with all my yammering, we ran out of time. But here's some more of the pink and some of the black and white collage paper. And I have 3 strips of each, so they'll come out nice and chunky and fat like that. More like that style. But I'm going to keep going on this, guys, but unfortunately I have to stop the video. I hope you liked what you saw today, and I hope you guys like my beads. If you haven't made them, give them a try. If you have, and just maybe you just haven't made any in a long time, pull out some papers, have some fun. But as always, guys, thank you so very much for spending some time with me. I truly appreciate it, and I will see you on the next video. Thanks so much. Take care, and God bless. Bye-bye.